Good morning, students. Students, today we are going to start with a new chapter of geography, lesson number 19, rocks around and inside Earth. Before we are doing the question answers related with this chapter, I will explain you about the internal structure of the Earth, right? So, the Earth is divided into three layers: crust, mantle, and core. So, the first one is crust, right? So, crust is the topmost layer of the earth. Which layer? Topmost layer, right? And which is made up of rocks and soil, right? So, crust is the topmost layer of the earth's surface, which is made up of rocks and soil. So, the crust has two distinct layers. How many layers? Two distinct layers. Sial plus Sima, right? So two distinct layers. First one is Sial is the upper crust, right? And it is made up of two minerals. Number one is your silica and number two is your aluminium. Right? That is why it is called Sial, because of these two minerals, silica plus aluminium, Si plus Al, aluminium, Si for silica and Al for aluminium. Next one is your Sima. As Sial is the upper crust, so Sima is the lower part or lower crust. Okay, lower part of the crust, right? So it is comprising of ocean flows, right? And it is comprising of this one, Sial is comprising of continental masses, continents, land masses, right? And it is lower part of the crust comprises of ocean flows, right? So it is also composed of two minerals. One is your silicon and next one is your magnesium. Which one? Magnesium, right? Silicon Si and magnesium Ma. That is why it is called Sima, right? So this is about the crust, right? So the second one is your mantle. The mantle is layer between the crust and core, right? The crust and the outer core. The mantle is the layer between the crust and the outer core. You see here upper and lower mantle, and this one is your outer core. That is why it is a layer between the crust and the outer core, and it is also known as mesosphere, right? It is known as the mesosphere. So number two is your mantle. So the mantle is divided into two parts. How many parts? Two parts. Number one is your upper mantle, and number two is your lower mantle. Okay, upper mantle, here the temperature is about 870 degree Celsius, right? And here in lower mantle the temperature is about 2200 degree Celsius. So we can say that lower mantle is much and more hotter than the upper mantle. That is why here the temperature is 2200 degree Celsius, right? So the next one is your third one is your core. Which one? Core. Again the core is divided into two parts, the outer core and inner core. So a core is the, you see here, core is the innermost layer of the earth. Which one? Innermost layer of the earth. The core is made up of nickel and iron. Core is made up of nickel and iron. Okay, the core is extremely hot. Why it is extremely hot? Because it is the innermost layer of the earth, and here the temperature is about 3000 degree to sometimes 6000 degree Celsius, right? And the core is again divided into two parts. How many parts? Same way. Mantle is divided into two parts, right? Same way. This one is divided into two parts. Again, the core is divided into two parts. Number one is your outer core. Number two is your inner core, right? So the outer core is 2300 kilometer thick and the inner core is 1200 kilometer thick, right? So the outer core is made up of superheated layer, it heated molten layer, right, which is made up of iron and nickel. This one, outer core, is made up of iron and nickel, and inner core is extremely, here the temperature, high temperature is found in this layer, right? That is why the movement of materials in the outer core. And here this one is the solid ball of mostly here iron and nickel are found in this layer also. In inner core, iron and nickel are found, right? So this is about the internal structure of the earth. So based on this diagram, you have to do the question answers of practice zone 1 in your notebook, like the outermost layer of the earth, what is mantle with beneath the crust, right? And next is your describe the two parts of the core. Thank you, students.